Good morning, good evening, and good night, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the BCM Podcast, episode number 65. I am Charles, your
Not even
host.
sure that's true.
I'm Charles, your host for today. To my adjacent is Michael Searle, M Searle ATX, and below us is Brad Swail.
64.
I was going to look to see if that ATX could be removed, because it's not really accurate anymore.
Oh yeah, you should have Michael Searle, Dripping Springs. Is that where you live? I don't even know where you live, honestly.
Yeah, Dripping
Don't
Springs.
say it publicly.
Don't say it publicly after Charles just said it.
I did find out that Dripping Springs has an actual spring. I didn't realize why they named it that, but I was doing a little research the other day, came across it.
It doesn't flow quite like it used to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, who does? But to your point, let's talk a little bit about flowing, right?
Share, subscribe. If you tweet it out, share with your friends, tell people.
Are you the host or am I? Thanks.
Yeah, but you got to do a good job being a host.
With your friends. If you enjoy what you hear, please give us some comments and feedback, but also, make sure your friends know what you're listening to. But speaking of flowing, we want to kind of just touch upon something really quick. I was asking the guys before we went live when the last time everybody cried was, because we're humans and humans cry. And so do dogs and cats and chimpanzees. And so I was kind of curious when the last time the fellas cried was.
I don't think that dogs cry.
They do.
I've never seen a dog shed a tear.
You can cry without shedding a tear.
Yeah, I don't think they have tear ducts.
That's not what crying is. Tears.
Have you never cried without a tear coming out? That's
not what you're asking, is it?
We'll just ask the good Google. I'll go first. I was just telling Charles before the show, I was almost on the verge of tears last night. Work is incredibly busy. I have a very demanding schedule. I wake up very early, get work all day long. Then I've got 3 kids and it just becomes overwhelming. I'm an introvert, so I haven't been giving myself much time to myself. And I just last night was feeling like I'm not performing as well as I can, both as a parent and as a professional, and not getting to tasks. And I just was on the verge. The last time I cry every once in a while, maybe once a month is probably the cadence, but it's typically always the same. That dynamic that I just explained to you, I go through that process a lot. And I'm a middle child of, I've told you guys this on the show before, middle child of a alcoholic family. So the role we assume in life typically is the peacemaker. So you're always trying to do everything for everybody else. And that can burden you and bring you to tears from time to time.
From time to time, that is for sure. I can appreciate everything you just said. What's funny for me, when I get overwhelmed and I don't feel like I'm performing, it's a never-ending cycle. I get on a hamster wheel where I feel like I'm not performing like I need to be, and I'm overwhelmed, and so it makes me perform even less. And then I'm well, now I'm really not performing, and then it just keeps getting worse. Brad, when's the last time you cried?
When I heard the news that Trump won second term,
this was a serious conversation. Thanks for ruining it.
I knew our country was saved and the spirit of 1776 would rise again. You know what I mean? I'm sorry for bringing a little levity to the show. All right. Calm down, Charles. The last time I cried was probably 2 or 3 months ago, I think. It's been a wild 5 months, let's say 6 months. And it all just sort of came crashing down on me at one moment. What happens?
Yeah, of course.
So, that's when.
I love how this is typical, and I'm about to do the same thing in a second. But I love how we're all justifying why we cried. It happens. Yeah, well, I know.
Isn't that the natural question? Why did you do it?
No. But no, why you did? No, first of all, you don't have to tell us why you did it. But I'm saying, at the end of each one of us saying this, we're like everyone else, it happened. As if we have to justify why we have emotion. And so I hear you. All right. Well, thanks for sharing, guys. Appreciate that. So, if you guys did not just see, Trump is moving his inauguration indoors. Did that make you cry?
No.
No, I mean, I still got, still got my guy in office, still going to wreck house. We're going to tear down the deep state from the inside this time. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, to your question to you guys, what do you guys think these changes mean? I mean, obviously it's because of the cult, but do you think it's like you have 100,000 people who are going to inauguration that's now apparently also going to be moved into the not City Field, but whatever the stadium is, I think Capital One Arena. They're going to be moved in there. The parade is going to also be in there.
It's moved to Capital One Arena?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little on the nose.
The inauguration is going to be in the rotunda. Do you think people will riot for not being able to be on? Like, I mean, I'm sure some people are going to be like, the weather's controlled, and this is why they don't want Trump to have an inauguration outside, so we don't see the crowd size. But do you guys think people are going to do you think people are going to act up, or you think it's going to be an eventful day without any sort of actual negative events?
I think it's moved indoors so that there won't be negative events.
Yeah.
Right, but don't you think people are going to be frustrated because they're not going to see it live? They're going to see it live, but via video screen.
He's been our president, our president from the real White House in Mar-a-Lago, Florida, for many years now. Okay, this is just another hiccup by the deep state trying to knock him off the train. You know what I mean?
Reagan was in it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Please.
I was just going to say Reagan was inaugurated in the rotunda. That was it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He was our greatest president ever.
No, he wasn't.
I've been reliably told by every conservative media outlet forever that Reagan was the greatest ever. No, I think this is so shenanigans won't happen. The weather. Come on, who cares? It's so that they got inside info and they're moving it indoors to squash that little plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, remember last year when Bernie Sanders was in his little mittens and sitting in the cold?
Yeah,
that was Biden's inauguration. So it's not like
11 degrees.
That's true. I don't know. I think it's going to go by without a hitch. Any little thing that happens will be blasted on media, but I think we're going to be smooth sailing. They're getting prepared for the real outrage machine, which will come when deportations start.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I guess that leads us to Brad's background, which says looking for a book to help resist Trump. Try this: gay immigrant Muslim furry romance.
Yeah. You don't remember that tweet from Slate in 2017?
No, I don't. What is it from 1995? Because that Twitter looks like it was from the day Twitter was made.
No, 19. I think it was 2017, I believe.
Is that what Twitter looked like in 2017?
I mean, I think if you didn't go dark mode like a psychopath, dark mode is the right way to do it. Light mode is the psychopath way to do it.
Oh, dark mode.
Exactly. Thank you.
Same.
Yeah, this was a real tweet by Slate back when things were really crazy. I think people really kind of forget how insane progressives were when Trump was first inaugurated for his first term. How totally bonkers it was.
Well, no, I mean, I don't think anybody forgot that because we just saw that again this election cycle.
No, I think this is worse. I mean, looking to resist a book to help you resist Trump. Read a gay immigrant Muslim furry romance. It doesn't get worse than that, Charles.
Did you read it?
It's my favorite book. I wrote it.
Great. Well, what do you guys think about Trump and aliens? Because I think, actually, Brad, why don't you lay it out for us? Because you sent us the Mucker Marlson tweet of a video.
Why do you say it that way? I thought that would rile you up a little bit, and you did not do it, and it was very a little frustrating.
Because for my sanity, I do not watch anything Tucker Carlson anymore.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't understand. Why? You think he's a grifter and he's just changing his I mean, there's videos of him from many years ago where he's kind of the same, but aren't people allowed to change, Charles? Do they have to have the same opinions and throughout their life?
We've gone over before why I have why I have distrust, and it's not that. But anyway, tell us what it says.
It's probably because he's white.
The president has said, he just said, I'm going to tell you what those drones were about.
He was very relaxed. What is he wearing, Schellenberger here? What is that tracksuit? What's he doing? What's up with that? Isn't that kind of weird?
Lore.
He looks very thin. He needs to put on some weight. What's his BMI, right?
Text about it too. I mean, I was struck that when he did, she said it twice. He said it again recently, like last week, right? But then he said it in December. He goes, I don't know why they're buying. Like, I don't know why they're not telling people what they are. They know what they are. And I was like, I mean, it was a really. He made it sound like it's no big deal. Like, we should just tell people what it is. But if Trump knew what it is, and if it's NHI and Trump knows that, he seemed very relaxed about that because, of course, the conventional wisdom among people that follow this who think it's NHI is that
NHI being non-human intelligence, Charles.
Thank you.
Just making sure you know.
It's bad news. That it's not a great story. That if it were good news and that they were just friendly space brothers, offering us, advanced tech, then and they'd be like, and there's no strings attached or whatever, that would be a much easier story to sell. But if there's some bad news in that story, then that might explain why they're so secretive.
Well, clearly there's some bad news. My theory is that the reason that permanent Washington or deep state or whatever, people who administer the system hate Trump is not because of any of his policies, which they're probably agnostic on, but because they fear that he will disclose information.
It looks like Schellenberger is underweight in that. It looks like he has AIDS or something. I don't understand what's happening. He's very thin. It's not like it looks like is he on Ozempic? I don't get it. Alex Jones looking svelte, by the way. Have y'all seen Alex Jones?
Can we get to the point of this?
Everything's about disclosure. If you look at the federal government, its defining quality is secrecy, right?
Yes.
1 billion classified documents. Why is that?
Right.
It's not good. It's never good. Your kids behave like that. It's not good.
No.
They're using drugs or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're having sex they shouldn't be having. There's never a good reason for that kind of secrecy. It's not privacy. It's secrecy. So
right. Yeah.
What is sex that you shouldn't be having? What is that?
He's
talking about his kids.
Children.
I mean, but I'm assuming he's talking about like older kids.
I'm assuming he's talking
about
older kids,
like college or like late high school. I don't know.
Yes,
and there's something about Trump that makes everybody nervous. I think
many parents still don't want their kids having sex in high school either.
Yeah,
he might say more of what he knows than he should.
Well, they don't control him. That's obviously right. So that's very nerve-wracking. I mean, how much do you think that they're just worried that he's going to pull out of NATO? How much of it is that? Of course, that's in my daily prayers that he would do that.
The gist of it is that Tucker Carlson says the incoming president, Donald Trump, knows UFOs are non-human intelligence and that he'll disclose the truth. So Tucker Carlson, yet again, saying, hey, I know the truth and it will all be revealed at some point about UFOs. I can't tell you. Someone else will at some point soon-ish.
Well, my point remains: if the president knows, the incoming president why didn't he release it the first term? Same thing with JFK stuff. Why not? What are we going to get it this term? I don't know. What I do know is he has said. I didn't hear him say what Tucker just said about him releasing alien-related information, but he did say he was going to release a report on the New Jersey drones day one of his administration, because he said it was information that people needed to have and it was secret. But it was very interesting because in the speech in which he was giving this, he waffled between what sounded like he knew what was going on and then sounded like he did not. And so I don't know if he does or doesn't. I would assume he does because he's got to be getting presidential daily briefings. So, I mean, I don't know. My thing is, like, I'll wait and see. I'm from the show me state, I was waiting. We didn't see it the first term, JFK stuff, alien stuff, whatever else was out there. Are we going to see it the second term? Who knows?
Yeah, I think they're conflating two things here, which is the drones and then the broader issue. I think Trump knows what the drones are because I know what the drones are.
Wait, do you?
Well, I have a strong opinion about what the drones are.
Wait. No.
We talked about this on the show. We talked about drones.
Yeah, but okay. No,
they're US
clean this up because you just slipped and said some government intel that you must have gotten.
No, I don't have any government intel. It's US tech. It's obvious. But I don't think Trump knows what the alien thing is, the broader issue. He might know that aliens have visited us, like from another planet or something like that. But that is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of the alien story. And I don't think he knows that much about that. But I think he'll tell us what the drones are, which is U.S. tech.
So do you
wondering.
think that if he gets information about the aliens, he'll tell us?
I don't think they'll give him the information. I think this is a slow drip, controlled narrative that aliens are visiting us and they'll use it for fear or whatever. But that's not the story. That is not the story. It's not the full story. Luis Elizondo and all those people who are like, the Department of Defense cleared me to say this, but not the other thing. Well, what's the other thing? That's part of the full story. What's the other thing that you're not cleared to say? And what are the things that you don't even know? So I don't think Trump's read in on all that stuff. I think it's a much bigger story than just aliens visiting us from another planet. I think Tucker has suspicions about what he thinks it is. I'm probably in the same camp, and I think Trump knows very little about it.
Well,
Before
he's
we
not.
get Brad's take, I just want to say I love how we've been doing this podcast long enough that we've seen Michael grow from being Luis Elizondo's biggest fan to his biggest hater. Go ahead, Brad.
Tucker doesn't have like a strong opinion. He has come out and said like, I got inside info, but I can't tell you.
Got to do the work, boys. You just want it handed over to you. You got to spend 10 years in the trenches on the UFO issue, and then you'll understand what's going on here.
No, 10 years in what trenches? What are you
Go read Behold a Pale Horse by Bill Cooper.
I got that book.
Go read it.
Oh, God, I have to read the books that I buy.
Yeah.
I'm currently reading a book about hawks.
Ugh, hawks? What's with you and weird animals and weird animal books?
I mean, hawk is not a weird animal.
I mean, hawks, octopi, octopuses. I mean, I'm sure you've read a book about like
snakes,
capybaras.
No, snakes, amphibians, just interesting ones. But yeah, I don't know. Brad, do you think Trump will release information or what?
No, nothing ever happens and it never will. So no.
Oh, you're such a hater. He's going to release information. He's just not going to
release information, but we're going to have this exact same conversation with just like it's a different angle because he released a unredacted one thing and the whole UFO community, blows their load all over Twitter. And it's not good. Nothing ever happens. Nothing ever happens. Nothing ever happens.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. We hear these things all the time, was there another shooter on the hill? We're going to find out.
100%.
What happened on that boat that was off of the coast of like Israel. Remember that Candace
USS Liberty?
We always get told we're going to be told these things, and then we're never information. Then we have Candace Owens out here being like, I know what's up.
Well, I mean, that's a little, I think that's maybe different because like Candace, like what you're referring to is independent journalists like Candace Owens coming out and providing context to a story, but it's not an official government document or like official coming out and saying this is true. We're going to get a lot of UFO people coming out and saying a lot of stuff in the next 4 years.
Right. What I'm saying is we're always told that we're going to get the official story or the official details about things, and then we don't. So then we end up having independent journalists fill in the gaps for us. That's what I was trying to say.
Yep. Slow drip. You're not going to get the full story. Sorry, folks. You got to read. You got to do the work.
I guess I got to go to that city in Brazil.
But I disagree on JFK. I think we're going to get something, and we'll get to that actually in a later section or in a later
I don't have
segment.
that on my list.
You have favorite news stories of the week.
Next, I want to talk about, since we're talking about aliens and otherworldly beings, I want to talk about this planetary parade we have got coming. Brad, why don't you tell us a little bit about it and what it means for us? And, does this mean that our chakras are going to be aligned or what?
Your chakras have nothing to do with planetary alignments.
No, okay. But do tell. Does that mean Mercury is going to be in retrograde and we should not go outside unless we, spin
Mercury in retrograde? You know what? I'm not going to stand for this. All right, if you're going to poo-poo all over my beliefs and use your little, bullshit tropes to hurt my feelings, okay, then I'll just step off the show.
Tell us about the planetary parade.
It's a planetary parade. It's a planetary stop. I don't want that. Planetary alignment on January 21st, 2025. The planets will be aligned the day after the inauguration, which will be indoors. Reminder. I don't know if that's significant or not. It kind of feels astrologically significant. Maybe. No, right?
Sure.
It doesn't happen very often. I'm gonna really piss off Brad. So I really believe in the notion of as above, so below. And I think that's why the ancient civilizations were so diligent about tracking the stars, the constellations, the solstices, and all that stuff. I mean, the Mayan calendar, the ancient Mayan calendar, can track lunar eclipses with more precision than our modern day calendar can.
I don't understand. When am I going to get pissed off? I don't understand.
You're going to get there. And the ancient Egyptians built the Sphinx to look directly due east. And on the summer solstice, when I believe that the Sphinx was constructed, which disagrees with Egyptology, the sun would set due east with the constellation of Leo behind the sun as it was setting. That's not a coincidence, right? That's why it's a lion. They changed the head, but it's a lion because it pointed to the constellation of Leo. So I think there is something to what's happening up there impacting what's happening down here. I just think we're so naive about it, and we're so specialized in science that we don't really track how those things intersect, kind of like diet and cancer, you know? So I think there's probably some impact of the planets aligning. I just don't know what it is.
I don't understand. Where am I supposed to get pissed off? I don't get it.
Well, yeah, because I said I think that what happens in the universe impacts what happens on Earth. So astrology, you do believe it.
That's why he was giving me a hard time because I don't.
I don't understand what. I mean, I don't know if I go and if I read my my daily, what is it called, the astrology
zodiac horoscope.
Yeah, horoscope. I don't go read that and think that it's given any credence, but I mean, it's kind of magical in a way. Let's say that the planets are aligning on January 21st, 2025. Yeah. But it says the next large planetary alignment is coming January 21st, and the next great one will take place on February 28th.
I know. I was trying to figure out how often this happens. I couldn't really get a good scale of it.
Like every 3 months.
So 6 planets in the planetary alignment on January 21st. The next planetary alignment will take place on January 21st in the evening, just after sunset. 6 planets: Mars, Jupiter. How do you pronounce this one? It starts with a U.
Uranus.
Yeah. Neptune, Venus, and Saturn will align in the sky. 4 of the planets, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn, will be easily visible to the naked eye. Look at that. You don't even need equipment.
Mars, Jupiter, Neptune, Venus. Oh, and you're okay. They're going to be, I mean, all right.
So I don't know. I mean, I just think that it's for all the astrology freaks out there. I think it's just interesting that's happening the day after Trump's inauguration. What's going to happen? Is that when, I mean, I know that the powers that be, right? These people, right? They pay attention to what's up there. What's it mean to them, right? That there's a planetary alignment the day after Trump's inauguration. Charles, Michael, anything? Any guesses? Will they just have another child sacrifice or something?
Isn't that the speculation that that's the day the aliens are going to be revealed?
Isn't that what you said?
No, there are people on the fringes that
aren't you the one that said, like, told us about that? I didn't bring it up.
Okay. Yeah, that's the date.
So you're asking me about your info. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I think
well,
that's the date.
That is the day. But how many days have we been told that the aliens are going to be revealed or the rapture was going to be coming? I'm still waiting for the rapture. I think it was supposed to. Was it 20? I don't even remember what year it was. Okay. I think the tides will be different. I think we'll see some tidals issues.
No one's going to notice any tidal differences.
I think plenty of people will.
No one was going to notice that. No one.
The tide?
Scientists might might see the tide changed 3 inches.
Do you not notice if you're driving by a large body of water where when the tide is far higher or far lower than it usually is?
If I live next to that body of water, yeah, I would notice that. But I don't live next to a body of water. If I just drive by a body of water that I'd never see in any other instance, why would I notice that?
Because you can tell when it's out of place.
How would I know what place it's in if I don't see it any other time?
Because sometimes
I understand the tide goes in, tide goes out. I know that. I don't think that these 6 planets alignment is that going to change the tide a couple inches. Maybe, I don't know. No one's going to notice that.
I'm beg to differ, but okay.
You can beg all you want.
We'll see what happens. I don't know that. I mean, we need another retrograde because things just have not been going good. And I need a break.
What does that mean, a retrograde?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. People just be saying it on Twitter.
People say yes. People be saying that on Twitter. Thank you. And I just be wondering what that be meaning. You know what I mean?
I think it's something about the way that Mercury spins around the other ones. But apparently, when it's in retrograde, I think a bunch of bad things happen to people.
That's what they say. Who the fuckers?
Retrograde literally means moving backward or in the opposite direction.
Okay, so then it's when Mercury stops spinning and it starts going in the other direction, and then
That's all planets are want to do. It's only a matter of time till Earth does it. Stops spinning and goes in the other direction.
Okay.
What's the next? What's going on, guys? What's up next?
All right, so that's enough planetary alignment, planetary parade talk for today. Let's shift a little bit. You know, there was a big week in Texas. Texas Legislature is in session. When the Texas Legislature is in session, no one's wallet's safe. Am I right, guys? No one's rights either, or livelihood, or homes, or property, or anything. But you know, here we are. And so the session is underway, and a lot of bills have been filed. Obviously, more bills will be filed. But I'm curious what you guys see as some of the bills that you are particularly interested in that have been filed so far, or maybe that have not been filed, but you got word that they will be filed. So what are some favorite and least favorite bills from this legislative session?
I'm assuming I'm first. You guys are probably going to guess pretty easily what my favorite bills are. Rep or Chairman Gio Capriglione filed the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, the Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve bill. That one I'm fired up about. My friend Ellen Troxclair filed banning cell phones in schools. That one I'm stoked about.
Okay.
Senator Brian Hughes's bill to not allow SNAP benefits to purchase junk food. I'm excited about that one. And what am I not excited about? The thousands of bills that have no chance of moving at all that people feel like they need to file so they can go back to their districts and be like, oh, I filed this bill. You need to reelect me. And then they refile it, doesn't go anywhere. And then they refile it. Those bills, all of those bills equally annoy me.
Love it. I agree.
What are those bills? What do those bills typically say? Like,
I mean, there are thousands of them. I mean, Brian did an analysis of the last 10 years of bills. 87% of bills fail. Over the last 10 years, the average for a session is 87% of bills fail, 13% pass. So a lot fail. I don't know.
A fail doesn't mean that it's voted down necessarily. A failure means that it could not even get out of committee or whatever.
No, failure means failed to pass in this instance.
So it was voted on and did not pass.
Or didn't move all the way through the process, or didn't move at all. Well, it could be a number of different outcomes. The only outcome that it's taking into account is whether it was signed by the governor or not, passed through the process, signed by the governor. So a small percentage of those pass. I mean, they file bills on school financing, on abortion, on expanding Medicaid, on all those things are filed every session, and they don't go anywhere. They waste everybody's time, and they're just a talking point for the politicians to go back to their district and be like, oh, you need to elect me so I can do this thing that I already tried to do 10 times.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen.
My favorite bill is from the newly elected Speaker of the House, Dustin Burrows. Famously, elected by many Democrats, and people always wonder, well, how did he get that, right? What is it? What did he promise the Democrats?
Always wondering. It's been 3 days.
It's been a little while since this came in the news, so it's been just more than a few days. What is Dustin Burrows promising the Democrats? What sort of chairs, stuff like that? Like, what is James Tellerico? What is he going to get? What's Gene Wu going to get? You know what I mean? Yeah. One of my favorites is he filed a bill for Trans Day of Awareness on March 31st to raise the trans flag above the Texas Capitol. That was Dustin Burrows. This is how he got elected, bro.
Are you serious?
No.
Oh my God. I'm like,
down. God. I'm playing up on people's emotions that he's a closeted progressive. Maybe he'll give Gene Wu what he wants, and the CCP will have its own embassy inside the Capitol, inside the Speaker's office, right, Charles?
I think when you're going to be funny and sarcastic, you should actually be funny so that we can know when you're making a joke, so we can laugh too.
You guys interrupted at the flow of it, so I had to stop in the middle, so it's fine. But you guys laughed, and that was the goal. It's totally fine. Sorry that you don't really have a good sense of humor, Charles. That's something you should maybe work on for the new year.
I'm in therapy about it, so yeah.
You're in therapy about a sense of humor? God, that must be bad. So yeah, I mean, what's my favorite one? I like the no cell phones in schools. That's good. I mean, I hope that our previous guest with the Make Texans Healthy. Yeah, I hope that he has some. I was saying the organization first. Thank you. I hope that he has some success in what he's doing. We get some more bills from that. You know, are we going to get property tax relief? That's all. I mean, you have these fucking massive surpluses every fucking year. Maybe you're not actually helping us with our property taxes. Maybe you're not making it more affordable. Maybe you should stop it with these surpluses. If there's a surplus, maybe you just give me a refund.
A surplus just means they took too much money from the taxpayers. That's all it means.
I know. So stop taking so much money and just give me my money back.
Maybe you're the right thing you said on this show.
Huh?
It's the first right thing you've said on this show.
I've said so many right things on this show, and every listener.
Well, isn't that what they've done the last 2 sessions? And property taxes are still going up, so they're not really getting at the problem. It doesn't seem like a sustainable solution is to overtax us so that you can buy down property taxes, and then our property tax bills still go up.
They haven't given me a refund.
That's what I'm saying. No, they've.
That's what
they
I want.
have.
If
they
you
have
take too much money from me, give me some money back.
Yeah, but they have taken the surplus or a portion of the surplus in the last 2 sessions to buy down the the school property tax. It's called, what do they call it?
Compression?
Compression. Thank you.
Oh, compression.
Compression. But our property tax bills are still going up. So they're not doing enough, or they're not addressing the actual problem.
Yeah. So maybe the right solution is, look, if you're going to have a surplus, great. I think that's actually kind of good news. You have a surplus. Means you're not spending all of our money.
You're missing the point here, dude.
I'm not done talking. But thank you.
Ooh, 747.
Give me my money back.
No, that's not going to address the problem. Giving you money back is not going to address the problem. Your property tax bill will go up even more if they don't do the compression and just write you a check. The issue is that local governments and state governments are spending way too much money, requiring way too much government spending, and that's what needs to be addressed.
Sure,
Paul.
What also needs. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Obviously, the ideal would be no property tax for me. I don't understand why I have to say this for the millionth time. I'm trying to operate in the system that I live in, not in the system that I want, which is never going to happen. No one's ever going to give me no property taxes.
You never know. What also needs to be addressed is this legislature needs to close the disaster loophole so that local governments can't increase your property taxes when there's a disaster, which is absolutely ridiculous, and which is why Harris County residents have seen a 15% property tax increase this year for Harris County. I mean, it was 8 when they did it separately, but there was other things factored in. But property taxes went up significantly because they used the disaster loophole. Why would you be able to why would we let local governments increase taxes beyond the 3.5% during the year of a disaster, like the year that it's actually really hard on people? Why is that the year that we're going to let them raise taxes really high? I don't know.
Well, isn't the argument so that they can raise funds to rebuild? I'm not saying it's a good. I'm not saying that this is a good idea. I'm saying that's their argument, right?
I don't know,
because the government prioritizes its ability to spend over our ability to pay for their spending.
It's ridiculous.
Yep.
There you go.
The other thing is those special districts too. Lone Star Standard reported that over 100 taxing units in Texas raised taxes by more than 3.5%, which is ESDs and MUDs mostly that are still jacking up those. I saw one that was 63% property tax increase.
63%. Wow. How many people live there?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. It wasn't a small ESD though. The tax revenue generated was in the tens of millions or hundreds of millions. I can't remember. Tens of millions. That's what it was.
ESDs and MUDs, which are also famously known for taking on massive amounts of debt with 7 voters. And yes, we love them. We love special purpose districts because they're just great. Some of my favorite bills and least favorite bills are Senator Mays Middleton and State Representative Briscoe Cain filed bills to end daylight savings times. We know, or at least there is information out there that points to the positive effects of ending daylight savings time. So that's cool. Senator Betancourt I don't know that he's filed it yet, but he's going to tackle the squatters issue, which I think is really interesting. Least favorite. I don't know that I necessarily have a least favorite that comes to mind, but when you mention the SNAP benefits one, I'm just going to talk about that for a second. I don't know. I'm going to say it's my least favorite, but I do take issue with it because I don't like the idea that I get it. I like the reason for it. Like I understand the purpose, but I don't like saying to people who need government benefits that you're then restricted from purchasing what you want to purchase, because there are a lot of people who live in areas where the only thing that you can get to if you don't have a vehicle is the convenience store, which does not sell fresh fruit, or does sell fresh fruit that's overly priced, and you have to buy one banana for $2, and now your SNAP benefits, you're not going to get as much bang for your buck because they sell one banana for $2. And so I don't like how that works, and until we can fix that, then I can't get behind that. But I like the idea, because yes, these are the people who typically are eating less healthy diets, and if we're going to be giving them government funds, they should be eating. I don't want to say that we should be telling what they should eat, but they should be eating better and feeding their kids better.
We should be telling them what to eat.
For some people, it's just not realistic.
They sell water at the convenience store, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like they don't have a healthier choice. That's cheaper.
Wait, what do you mean?
As like a cola, as opposed
to buying a cola, soda,
a pop.
They could buy water,
sure,
or coffee or something that's not poison.
What do they call sodas in Northern California when you're growing up, Michael?
Sodies.
Ugh.
Just kidding.
Sodas. I was gonna say like that girl from like my 300.
We're not north enough for it to be pop quite yet.
Okay.
No,
we should absolutely be telling them what they can and cannot buy if they're using our money.
But even when you look at soda versus water, go to a convenience store. So you can get a bottle of water, sure, for $1. But I mean, even if you go to a grocery store, if you get a case of water and a case of soda, it's going to be cheap. It's likely going to be cheaper to get a case of soda. So like, I think we need to understand why people make the decisions that they make. A lot of them make them, or if you can get a 30 pack of Top Ramen for like $4, and if you need to feed your kid for $2, you know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like we got to look at why people make the decisions they make.
Yeah, but we don't let them buy beer. We don't let people buy beer with SNAP benefits. So there is a line that we're willing to set. I think you'd probably agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about moving the line and trying to make sure that our tax dollars are being spent to better people's lives, not make them worse.
I agree, but beer is like not hydration. If beer was like purely like another drink, like that anybody could drink to hydrate themselves, then it'd be a different conversation. But that's like purely like recreational leisure.
I can make an argument that beer is healthier for you than soda.
Yeah, but kids can't drink beer.
Maybe they should be able to. We let them drink soda. Yeah, in Texas.
Huh?
Can't they drink a beer with their parents?
In Texas, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I think if I give my child a beer, like it's legal.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a line of like, if I give them 7 beers and I'm endangering them.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's illegal, but yeah.
Just beer or like
cocaine, beer, fentanyl.
I meant alcohol.
Oh. They draw the line at whiskey for some reason.
Are you being serious?
You can beer, alcohol. You can give them alcohol, Charles. But I understand your concern. I just think the market will have to respond, and then there will be more options for people.
Will they?
I think
will
they'll
the
have
market
to
respond?
I think they'll have to. If their sales of soda go down because SNAP benefits aren't covering the cost of them, then they're going to make less space in their markets for soda, I would think.
Why do you enjoy, Charles? Why do you like subsidizing Coca-Cola and Pepsi?
I don't, but
Sounds
the thing is, like, what we hear from local governments, who there's been a rash over the past 5-6 years there where local governments are banning Dollar Generals, dollar stores, convenience stores, dollar stores, but specifically dollar stores. And their argument is that they don't provide healthy enough food, and if we ban them, then HEB will come in instead because there's a need that it needs to be filled. That isn't true. Like, that's just not true. HEB looks at it and they don't see the bang for their buck, and they don't come in, and then now this place just doesn't have anything. And so that's where, that's the kind of concern that I have with this, where I hope the market fills the gap and these stores then say, okay, we're going to start providing regular fresh food at regular prices and all that other stuff. I just don't know if it's going to happen or soon enough, but hopefully.
I can get with you on not banning dollar store. I think that's different though. Banning a particular establishment, the government banning it, not allowing it, is one thing. When we're talking about what we subsidize, I think it's a different conversation. If only we had an FDA that was looking out for us, though, right? Am I right?
Well, they are. They just banned Red 40 or Red 3 or whatever.
Red 3, and then said you have 2 years to take it out of the food.
That's because all the food has already been made with it.
I don't care.
Shelf life of forever because it's natural and normal and good. Everything that's natural, normal, and good lasts 2 years on the shelf. So
they out of one side of their mouth they say this causes cancer. Out of the other side of their mouth they're like, but you can leave it on the shelves for 2 years.
Hey, we're gonna ban smoking for children, but you have 2 years to let them get through those packs you already bought.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It is kind of crazy when you think about it. Okay, speaking of health and fitness and wellness and everything like that, since we're on this topic of banning food, banning people from buying food with their SNAP benefits, let's talk about supplements.
That's not what we're talking about.
PEDs. This is actually a two-part thing. I do actually want to talk about supplements because I'm curious what supplements you guys take and why. And I think we could all talk about that real quick, but also want to talk about roids and why Brad thinks they're bad. Why do
I think they're bad? Why is this like a unique opinion to me?
I'll just tell you what supplements I take, and then I'll sit back and watch the rest of this conversation. I take creatine. I take perfect aminos. That's not really a supplement. I take liver pills, and then I take oregano extract.
What does oregano extract do, and why don't you just eat a lot of oregano?
Because the extract will remove heavy metals from your body. That's what I hear.
Oh, guess I better put some more oregano on my pizza next time, huh?
Because I'm, a 90s boy, and so I'm vaccinated, so I gotta, get those heavy metals out.
Uh-oh. Now we're treading into some territory. I don't know. The only supplement that I take a mineral supplement in my water to remineralize my water, and I use whey protein.
Oh, I guess that's
no creatine.
Yeah.
No creatine. No PEDs because I'm not a fucking idiot.
I take creatine, whey protein, fish oil, 5-HTP, magnesium, and iron.
And you still wake up at like 1 a.m. So maybe maybe something's not working.
I intentionally wake up at 4 a.m. That's
you've said it so many times that you don't sleep well, and like you wake up.
Oh yeah. Right. That's just because of my mind.
Yeah, it's because of my mind, man. That's right.
And I'm currently looking into an anabolic protocol.
You're such a psychopath. Don't do that.
Why?
Well, look, first off, I'm not. I've gone through every supplement you can possibly think of. I grew up around supplements. I've been on major, like what Michael said, times 20. All right. I don't think it's really. I think most of them are not worth it unless it's like there's something very specific that you like need it for, and then I think it's worth it. But just like regular everyday stuff, like I'm going to take oregano every single day. It kind of seems like it's not working. Like maybe you should take it for that one purpose. You don't even know
what he's taking it for. So how do you know it's
not working? He already said what he's taking it for.
So how do you know it's not working?
How do you know it's not working?
How long have you been taking it for?
I don't know.
But what is your? Does it matter? What is your line?
Question, Charles. How long have you been taking it?
3 weeks, maybe.
Okay, well that's good. I was perhaps wrongly inferring that you've been taking it for a long time. In which case, it's like, well, why are you still taking it?
Because he's still he's not going to be able to get away from bringing the heavy metals into his body.
Correct.
I'm doing my best to be calm with you, Charles.
I'm in a cesspool of heavy metals and toxins, so I want them out of my body.
Yeah. If you treat them right, it can do a good job of eliminating a lot of that. And sometimes you do need a little extra help. And I think that's when you would take like an oregano protocol, for instance, for a specific amount of time. But too many people get out there and they'll take stuff like oregano for years and years and years. And they're still the same neurotic, crazy person they were years before. And people need to sort of address those problems as to why they're really taking these things. So yeah, performance enhancing drugs. I don't know why you want to do that. How old are you?
Old enough to know, but young enough to not give a damn.
Oh my God! Shut up. What?
So why don't we let Charles lay out what his thought process is?
Let's do it.
And then I have some comments, and then you guys can fight.
My thought process is that when we talk about steroids, I think the reason they have such a negative connotation is because we immediately go back to the days of the 80s and the 90s where guys were just juiced to the gills, or they're the baseball, and they're not taking care of themselves. They're just injecting just to get as big as they can, as fast as they can, and that's it. And, it destroys parts of their body, and they don't cycle. They just keep going, and that's it, and then they die of a heart attack. Whereas we've come a long way where we know so much more about them, that we cycle, that we take supplemental anabolics to offset other things that these anabolics are doing, that we get off of them and let our bodies, process through and then do another cycle if you so choose. We've come a long way and gained a lot more information about what they do to our bodies and how to best utilize them as a tool to help get us to peak physical performance, that I think that you can mitigate a lot of those negative effects now. Not all of them, but you can't mitigate life's negative effects. So I think that's why we're in a different place. I think that's the thing that it is. We're not just talking about doing it just because we want to do it and go and be.
That's what you're talking about.
But I'm talking about doing it in a healthy way.
Literally what you're talking about, doing it just because you want to do it.
No.
Yes.
But go ahead and tell us your side.
Michael, I think that you wanted to say something.
Oh, I was going to say, if done properly, the benefits are actually pretty significant. They increase endurance, strength, power, muscle build, or muscle mass, your ability to recover, speed, all these things. And if done well, the risks are relatively low. Mm-hmm. So my question to Charles would be like, what is the motivation? What is the end goal that you're trying to achieve, and then you can assess from there whether or not you do them or not.
Now, Charles, when you answer this question, you have to give an answer that satisfies something other than you're doing it for something other than just wanting to do it.
Well, I think the reason I want to do it is because I think brought my body to as far as I can bring it without full natty, right? And we're talking about not even, it's supplemental testosterone or anything like that. Just I've gotten to that point where I'm like, okay, what more can I do on my own? I would like to reap the benefits, the long-term benefits of everything that Michael just said. And given that this is something that I really like the gym. I really like, my workout community and stuff. This is something that I think I am finally ready for because I have been interested in it for a long time and I've read a lot about it and studied a lot about it. And I think it would just be, there's something about life about taking your body to the extremes one way or the other, right? You have those people on My 300-Pound Life who just like eating and they want to be as big as they can. There's something about pushing you
That's
to
a mental health problem.
Sure. So is taking too many steroids. You have like 75-inch biceps. I mean, yes, it is. But if you are doing it because you want to push your body to the extreme because we're human and we only get one thing called this little life, then I think it's great.
You're just saying a bunch of flowery language to justify doing this. If you want to do it, do it. You're doing it just so that you can reach quote unquote peak physical performance. But what is peak physical performance if not one more syringe away?
Peak physical performance because you get to a point on the curve where one more syringe away starts getting you down there.
Okay, good luck.
Thanks.
I genuinely, I think this is a terrible idea for you. I don't think that you're at the age where this is at all necessary.
You don't even know my age.
You're younger than me. You didn't say what it was, but you're younger than me. I think that if you were, I don't know, in your 50s and you had a little bit of ED and you were trying to have a kid with your like 20-year-old trophy wife.
Wait, what are we talking about? ED for? Oh, you were just talking about testosterone.
Yeah, if you were having electron dysfunction.
Erectile.
No. I know what you're talking about, but I'm saying anyway. Go ahead.
If you were taking some exogenous hormones to address your fertility problem, so that you could have a child in your late age, your advanced age. Okay, I can understand that. There's a specific goal, and then it's done, and you're done. You're talking about peak physical performance at your age. I doubt it that you've done everything that you can do besides PED. I am 100% sure that you have not done everything.
Cut out seed oils.
Huh?
Cut out seed oils.
Yeah, you could cut out seed oils. You could address your sleep problems. You could do a lot of things besides take Tren. And you talk about it has a bad image because the 80s and 90s, we had a bunch of guys that were taking it to the extreme and they died of a heart attack. That happens today. People take it to the extreme today.
Right.
It's not changed.
Okay.
You're talking about wanting to reach a peak. The peak is if again, you're going to get to the point if you're not careful of, all right, well, if I just take one more, maybe I'll be able to, add 5 pounds to my bench press. Who gives a fuck? You're not getting paid to bench press.
You don't know.
Why are you sacrificing your body and your health potentially for 5 extra pounds on your bench press? Who gives a fuck?
I do.
It doesn't matter. Like it's you shouldn't care about it. It's dumb.
We all care about different things. I care about how much weight I can throw around in the gym. I care about how good I feel.
I care about how much weight I throw around in the gym. I care about how fast I am on the soccer field. I care about how fast I swim. I care about all those things. So I also understand that as I get older, I'm not going to be able to compete with my 20-year-old self. And no, I don't want to. That's not normal or natural.
Okay. Well, we'll revisit this in 6 months.
And you're still weaker than me? We will.
Oh, do you want okay, we're going to have
you want to have a fitness competition? Let's do it, bitch.
pure deadlift.
Huh?
Pure deadlift.
That's not a fitness competition. That's not.
I didn't say fitness competition. You said,
do you want to have a fitness competition? Let's do it.
Pure deadlift.
Pure deadlift. All right. You want to have a deadlift?
Max.
I don't care about lifting a lot of weight, like having a really high deadlift. I want to be able to deadlift a good amount, but I also want to be able to run on the soccer field and have agility and have endurance and other things. I'm not going to focus on just one thing. If you want to have a true fitness competition, I'll do that.
Okay, fine. The 3 of us.
Oh,
Sure.
All right, fine. Fitness competition. Set a date. Michael.
I mean, whatever. Set a date. Me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll set a date.
Right now.
Like right now?
Yes.
Oh.
Closing day of session or the day after.
Okay. Yeah, June 3rd. June 3rd is my wedding anniversary. That's not a good date.
Fitness competition June 3rd. I'm driving to Austin.
That's my wedding.
Well, that is a good date.
Ladybird Park, and we'll put those big tires and we'll flip those and we'll do it all. We'll do it all.
Ladybird Park.
June 4th.
As we're getting ready to wrap up, we have 2 potpourri questions. One of them is your favorite news story of the week.
This whole show has been potpourri.
This whole show has been on your own business because I'm the host.
All right. Finally, I can get to my JFK. But to wrap that up, Charles, if we notice any signs of you doing anything real responsible, we're going to come to Houston and we're going to have an intervention.
Okay. Fair. That's fair.
Okay. So my favorite news story of the week, besides the red dye one, is the new JFK tapes that were released. Did you guys listen to those?
I didn't even hear about this.
How did you not hear about it?
I sent it to you in text. So I'll give you a little bit of the background. I'll try to go quick. Billy Sol Estes was Lyndon Johnson. They describe him as Lyndon Johnson's bagman. He was a $600 million Texas donor who also ran really close with Lyndon Johnson. He passed away in 2012, and as part of his will, he willed to one of his sons a bunch of tapes. And the son sat on them, and then when he died, he willed them to the grandson, Shane Stevens, who lives in Austin, Texas.
Oh,
he sent him to a studio or a place in Austin, Texas that takes cassettes and turns them into digital recordings. And the shop called them and they're like, we do not want these tapes. What is this shit? This is conspiracy. We take these away. And he's like, this was like last year. He's like, I don't even know what's on the tape. I don't even know what's on the tapes. Like, what are you talking about? And he gets the tapes back, and it's a conversation between his grandfather, Billy Sol Estes, Lyndon Johnson's bag man, and Clifton, what's his name? Clifton Carter, who is the head of the DNC at the time that Lyndon Johnson is president. And it's a 7-minute long tape, but I'll summarize what they say. He says, how are you doing? He's like, not that well. I've been fighting with Lyndon Johnson a lot. He's like, oh yeah, about what? He's like, I'm still pissed that he hired Mac Wallace to kill the president. Mac Wallace is an interesting name because in one of Lyndon Johnson's previous runs for, I think it was Texas Senate or some Texas race, his opponent was killed, and the person who killed him and went to jail for a very short period of time was a man named Mac Wallace.
That's crazy. Wait, so can we?
That's an inappropriate thing to do when talking about it.
Well, that would be more like.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sorry. Yeah, I could listen to the tape. Yeah.
We got to get this guy on the show.
Brad and I are we on it?
I mean, we've talked about it. We know where he works.
Do you want me to call his job?
Maybe.
And tell him that he's a conspiracy theorist listening to Ozempic Jones.
Ozempic Jones?
I cannot. You have not seen Alex Jones recently? I brought it up earlier in the show. He is looking very svelte.
Yeah.
He's lost
jumping in a
fuck ton of weight.
Yeah. He was in a creek in Austin, Texas. Okay. I think the first 30 seconds of this is actually the conversation. So, because it's an hour and 30 minutes long.
Well, Saul, it's been a pretty touch and go situation. Linda and I have had quite a few unpleasant words here lately over the deal with that he hired Mike Wallace to assassinate the president. It's been hectic in every way, but we've lived through it this far. I guess we'll continue to do so. Lyndon should have never issued that order to Mike. But we've had our differences, and I'm a true blue to Lyndon, as I've always been, and tried to carry out every order that he's ever given me. But this is one I'll probably never be able to forget. And the times that we've had in Texas, and the embarrassment that Lyndon had got from Kennedy, I guess there wasn't anything else to do but what he did.
All right, I'm going to stop it there.
Wow.
Crazy.
I don't even know what to think.
And guess what? Nothing's going to happen.
What is going to happen? Those people are dead.
Yeah, those people are dead.
The government's not going to come out and say, like, yeah, a sitting president, like, you know, the president ordered the assassination of like the previous, like, it's all, nothing's going to fucking happen. Like, no one's going to care.
I disagree. Trump said, if you saw what I saw, you wouldn't share it either. So maybe this is what he saw.
That's a good excuse never to share it.
I disagree.
My favorite news. I got two. Can I do two? Huh?
Yeah, you do too, because I don't have one, so you can do two.
Okay. My favorite, I'll do the first one. This one's for Michael. JP Morgan chief Jamie Dimon. You guys ready?
Yep.
Said that it's as useless as a pet rock. What do you really think?
You're going to have some kind of digital currency at one point. So I'm not against crypto. You know, Bitcoin itself has no intrinsic value. It's used heavily by sex traffickers, money launderers, ransomware. So I just don't feel great about Bitcoin. I applaud.
Oh yeah, Jeffrey Epstein's banker is talking about trafficking.
It seems like he would know.
Don't talk about Jamie Dimon like that.
It would, if he would know, if Jamie Dimon was Jeffrey Epstein's banker, you would think that he would know how that stuff works. And your immediate emotional defense of this kind of makes me think, you know, where do you fall on that list?
I mean, I've long been a fan of Jamie Dimon.
Oh,
And
no, you haven't. Shut up. It's not true.
it is very true.
Oh, no, you haven't.
The amount of money that is spent on illegal things in Bitcoin compared to the US dollar cash, it just pales in comparison. It's not even close. This is such a ridiculous line of argument. Plus, it's all online and trackable.
My
The
second
point of it was
favorite.
it wasn't trackable.
Well,
Uh-oh. God, Michael really put his foot in his mouth on that one, huh?
no, I mean, you can watch the transactions. Who the identities of the people are not known publicly, but I think the FBI could figure it out pretty easily.
Interesting.
My second post, Donald Trump confidant Roger Stone. There he is, everybody. He had an interesting thing to say this week. Jen Psaki got that stank.
Okay.
There she is. Got that stank. Good job, Roger
Let's go,
Stone.
Roger Stone.
Oh boy,
On
famous
that note,
ladies man, Roger Stone.
Thank you everyone for tuning in to this week's episode of the BCM Podcast, episode number 65. Please like, share, comment, leave feedback, email us, write us. I can give you Brad's home address, or you can find it online. But yes, let us know what you think of the show. Share it with your friends and your family, and then make sure you come back. I don't know if we have any more hats left, but once we re-up, you guys can get some. Thank you for tuning in. Have a fun inauguration. It's going to be indoors. Stay warm.